If you've been chronically dieting for years on end with zero luck, following cookie cutter programs and low carb approaches, under 2,000 calories, spinning your wheels on your fat loss journey, in this video, I'm going to show you the new way that men are losing 20, 30, 40 pounds eating more food, and the new diet that is currently going viral on the internet as we speak, called Metabolic Priming. So if you guys don't know me by now, my name is Adam Bono. I'm an online metabolic specialist, and I specialize in the manipulation of cellular metabolism. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. We're going to be going over a little bit more in depth on metabolic priming. So if you guys have been seeing my channel for some time now, seeing our client case studies, seeing the amazing transformations that come out of our program, in this video, I'm going to explain the process and the underlying how it works. And then I'm going to go through 3 to 4 different case studies that show you side by side how it's possible to show you guys how clients are literally eating more food and losing more weight. So if you've been dieting for some time now, this is the video that changes everything for you. And if you've been needing that extra little help and that extra level guidance, there's going to be a link down below for you to sign up and join the 1%. That is our company, the 1%. And we are the 1% of men that take this shit seriously. So anyways, getting right into this video, metabolic priming, the problem, the pendulum effect. Okay, so the pendulum effect in metabolic damage. So what is the pendulum effect? So imagine this. You go on a strict diet, cutting your calories way down, you lose some weight, but you feel tired, hungry, and deprived. You've pulled the pendulum way back in one direction, and then inevitably you can't sustain it. You swing back hard in the other direction. Overeating and indulging, the pendulum swings forward and you regain all the weight back, often with a little extra. Does that sound familiar? This isn't a lack of willpower for you. This is a biological response. When you chronically undereat, your body goes into survival mode. It sees this as famine. Your metabolism, which is like your body's internal engine, slows down to conserve energy, becomes incredibly inefficient at storing fat because it thinks it's starving. So it's going to start store energy away. This is what we call metabolic adaptation or metabolic damage. Your body is literally fighting against your fat loss efforts because it thinks it's protecting you from starvation. So metabolic priming is a technique that involves preconditioning cultured cells by manipulating cellular metabolism. It has emerged a valuable tool in theragnostics. This technique has a significant potential to impact the study of cellular processes related to energy metabolism, particularly those associated with redox homeostasis and oxidative stress, which are believed to play a crucial role in the development and progression of neurodegenerative diseases. This review explores the benefits of metabolic priming and its potential to advance our understanding of these complex diseases. So, the overall concept of what I want you to listen to for this entire video is the oxidative stress that these low-calorie diets do start to put out. Like low carb, keto, the carnivore, all these diets that start to produce oxidative stress. So who needs metabolic priming? Anybody who has been yo-yo dieting for years, people who have been stuck at a weight loss plateau for a very long time, those who are eating very few calories, under 2,000, or anybody who wants a long-term fix to a fat loss problem, okay? So what I want to start to get into and understand is this from like more of a mitochondrial perspective, like a cellular perspective, because we've talked about how like metabolic priming is really a preconditioning of the cells, right? Preconditioning of cellular metabolism. So when we look at it like down to the cell, down to like the actual mitochondria, is that a lot of mitochondrial deficiencies, a lot of metabolic diseases causes a lot of mitochondrial deficiencies or downregulations. That's where a lot of these diseases come from. So in this study, metabolic priming is a tool in redox and mitochondrial theragnostics. It states, in this review, we discuss the importance of redox homeostasis and mitochondrial function in the context of personalized theragnostic approaches. Cells have several ways to respond to metabolic stress, including changes in protein localization, density, and degradation, which can promote cell survival. However, disruption of redox homeostasis could lead to oxidative stress and cellular damage, which are implicated by certain various diseases. So models of active oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction should be developed in metabolically conditioned cells to explore the underlying mechanism of disease and help new therapies. So when you go into a very low carbohydrate diet, low calorie diet, you're producing a ton of like inflammation and cortisol. Because your body's basically its alarm system. Your body's putting off all these alarms saying, hey, we need more energy. We are out of energy. We need more food. We are starving. So you have all these signals going out. It stops losing fat, prevents you from losing any more weight. And now that you've already crashed your metabolism, you put yourself in the position of the pendulum to start swinging back again. So systematic inflammation starts to occur. So systematic inflammation, think of it as like a fire alarm. When you have an injury or infection, inflammation is good, but your body's emergency response team rushing to fix the problem. But when that alarm never turns off, you have chronic systematic inflammation. This is like having a fire alarm blaring in your house, putting your entire body in constant alert. So this systematic inflammation can lead to like cells having actual metabolic stress, like changes in protein localization, density, and degradation. And that's a sign where I see a lot of guys come to us. It's like the low-calorie approach. And yes, like you can lose weight on low calories, but there's a pendulum that will swing back if you don't do it correctly. So when we talk about mitochondrial stress, this is what I want us to understand, is that these responses are critical for maintaining cellular homeostasis and preventing the accumulation of damaged mitochondria, which can lead to cellular dysfunction and disease. So like I said, all of what we do from a metabolic priming perspective like happens at the mitochondrial level, like mitochondrial energy efficiency, the powerhouse of the cell. And if we are able to optimize the powerhouse of the cell for more energy and to output more energy, we can create a more bioenergetic, human approach, right? Which is bioenergetics, for you guys don't know, just catch up, is when you raise the amount of energy flowing through one's body, right? So have more calories flowing in and more calories flowing out, and now you have a very good flow of energy with mitochondrial efficiency. It reduces a lot of theragnostic diseases, and it can improve a lot of cellular dysfunction, even like insulin sensitivity, blood sugar regulation, insulin resistance. All of this can be fixed with metabolic priming and understanding how metabolic priming works. So, on the other hand, mitohomeostasis is a biological response where the induction of a reduced amount of mitochondrial stress leads to an increment in health and viability within the cell, tissue, and organism. So if we take off a lot of this stress off the mitochondria from these highly restrictive, low-carb, low-calorie diets that are putting you guys in a spot where you can't lose weight, you can't do anything, and no matter what you do, you can't do anything but just gain the weight back. With carbohydrates, we can actually systematically reduce inflammatory markers. So carbs reduce inflammatory markers in your blood. Scientists measure inflammation using markers in your blood, and the most important one being C-reactive protein. In controlled study, people who ate a high diet rich in high low-inflammatory carbohydrates had 22% reduction in CRP. That's a massive drop in systematic inflation just from eating carbs, right? And if we wanted to put this on a kind of statistic and like a chart, this is what we see, right? So what we're saying is that a lot of these mitochondrial stressors and like cellular stressors on the body with systematic inflammation can be reduced with carbohydrates. When all these people are like preaching carbohydrates as like the devil, well, our clients, as you'll see below, are eating more carbohydrates than they ever have in their life, and they're losing more weight doing so. It's because we're putting their body in a very energy efficient perspective. On the cellular level, on the metabolism level even, we're creating more energy as an output. Because the calories you burn doesn't come from your exercise. It doesn't come from how much, that number on the treadmill says that you burned. That's not how many calories are actually burned per day. How many calories burned per day is dictated on the biggest part of your entire metabolism, your basal metabolic rate. The amount that you actually burn from the high intensity running that you're doing, the endless cardio that you're doing, the training that you're doing 6-7 days a week, that burns only 5% of how calories are burned. So while you guys are sitting there pissed off which you can't lose weight, we have clients, they're doing no cardio, eating more food, they're less hungry, and they're enjoying their life a lot more. And they're losing weight. And they're getting extremely lean. Okay? So, when we move on is that we can understand where the systematic inflammation actually comes from. Okay? So, One of the most hermetic responsive mitochondrial reactive species, such as superoxide or hydrogen peroxide or mitochondrial metabolites. But mitochondrial to systolic stress response, release of cytokines, right? So what we're saying right here is that a systematic response to the release of cytokines is where we can really start to understand where this inflammation comes from, right? So the ironic part is when you're overweight and you go into a strict, low-calorie, low-carb diet, your body fat uses itself to start creating inflammation. Your fat cells become stressed from lack of oxygen and nutrients, and they start pumping out inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. So the very act of a string dieting to lose fat is actually creating more inflammation, which makes it harder to lose fat. So while you're online looking at, scrolling through Instagram Reels or YouTube Reels, like watching your favorite influencer or favorite fitness guy say you need to starve yourself to get lean, I'm about to show you 5 different clients who are eating more than they ever have and losing more than ever and more weight. And this should piss you off, because for how long have you been doing it wrong? And it's not your fault. It's just nobody's out there teaching you the right way to do it. We are. And that's why it's important to know. Because here's the truth. What your family is seeing you do right now, if you're out of shape and your family sees you actively like thinking it's okay, like that's what they're going to grow up thinking, that that's okay. Like they're looking at you as the role model right now. Like it's your job to learn this stuff, to teach them this stuff. That's what we do. We come in and we teach our clients the proper way to diet, the proper way of nutrition, so they can teach their wives and they can teach their children. Because if your children aren't learning this, they're going to grow up with the same goddamn problems that you have, which is being overweight and not being able to get the weight off, not being able to look the way you like to, not giving the confidence that you're actually wanting to have or wanting to portray. Because they're watching you. They're watching the decisions you make. They're watching you think that it's okay and accept being average, right? And so our whole program is based around this. It's like we take guys, and not only do we put them in the best position of their life to have the best amount of progress, to reach the confidence that they oh so choose to, reach the body composition they oh so choose to, lose tons of weight, but we teach them the how. We teach them the how. And that's what nobody in this industry is doing. We're teaching our clients, hey, this is how it works. This is the benefits. This is why it works. And if you want to implement this with your children, like this is what we would teach. That is what we're creating. Because the education where you're stuck right now is the reason why you've been stuck for 5 years, 10 years, is because you think that you're doing the right thing, but you're not. Okay? And I'm sorry to like break your bubble, but at this point, it's like if you've been watching this video for as long as you have right now, like you resonate with this. And I'm talking directly to you because I've worked with almost 1,000 people prior to you seeing this video. And I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly where you're at. I know that you hate the way that you feel. You hate the way that you look in family photos. And like, it's got to change at some point. And it's the education on nutrition that's keeping you stuck. It's the accountability from being in a program of elite level gentlemen like the 1%. That's what you're missing. So all this education like is great. I hope you're learning a lot. But if you want to actually implement it and you want to actually take action, the link will be down below. And if you're somebody who's just coming by for more education, I actively, like truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, hope this puts you in a position to make action and to take actual action on your life. And I hope this education on these videos and my entire channel teaches you the right way to do things, because there's nobody out there doing it. But anyways, so like first of all, let's cover how clients are actually losing weight and eating more food. Well, here's like the strategic carbohydrate increase in the boost of your BMR to accelerate fat loss. It's like the eat more, lose more paradox, right? So if we take calorie intake, which is right here, so you're probably, I'm guessing, right around 1,800, maybe even below. And we've seen guys even come to us at like 1,200. Like, Jesus. Like, that's enough to feed a 12-year-old girl. Seriously. So like, first of all, you're a grown-ass man. You shouldn't be eating under 2,000 calories. But here's the truth, okay, is that like when you're eating these 2,000 calories, you've downregulated your metabolism to the point that your metabolism has just shot, right? It starts to go down. But if we can strategically use carbohydrates to reduce those inflammatory markers and improve mitochondrial wellness, we can eat more food and then have a higher metabolism than the food that you're actually eating. So this is where the best amount of progress will come from, with strategically eating carbohydrates to have an optimized BMR. So, like at 200 calories, yes, we're still eating, 400 calories more, but our body is now burning from 1900 calories right here to 2400 calories. So we're technically burning 500 more calories, right? But we're technically eating more as well. So that's the paradox of how it works. So let's look at this active concept and how it really happens with some strategic clients, right? So these are clients that came to us. I mean, amazing shape, right? Every single one of these clients are in a low-carb diet. This is my client, Darren. He's a business owner. Came to us at 1,800 calories. On the right, he's at 2,600 calories. This is Seth. He's in IT. Came to us low-carb, 2,300 calories. This is him eating, I believe, 3,500 calories. And then this is Joe. And Joe came to us eating 1,900 calories. On the right, he's eating about 26, 27. Okay, so how is this possible? So there's really two approaches that really does happen when we see a lot of clients that do come to us. So like the metabolic priming process is like typically right, like what I'm speaking on right here. And right off the bat, like a lot of clients will see a rapid drop in weight and then a slow climb up. And that's pretty normal. But like the hardest thing about this process, guys, and the reason why like I implore you to have an actual professional overwatch you as you do this is because a lot of people, right, when they get right here, they hit like a new low weigh-in, they start gaining weight a little bit. Like you're so dictated on like what the scale says that a lot of guys will say, "Oh no, I'm gaining weight," and then lower the food. Like look at his physique right here. Like this muscle tissue, this structure was built during the metabolic priming phase. So what's happening during this phase, truthfully? He's gaining muscle tissue. Okay, we track side-by-sides and photos so we can see this stuff. Well, most guys will go wrong is like the guys who think that weight's the dictator of progress. Guys, weight is the fourth dictator of progress for us. The fourth, okay? First, how you look. Second, how you feel. 3, strength in the gym. Next is weight. We don't care about your weight. We don't care about your weight. And neither do you, reality-wise. Because if I was sitting here right now, snap my fingers, and you were sitting in your chair right now, and you just were six-pack shredded at the same exact weight, would you give a damn? Absolutely not. You don't care about your weight. You care about how you look. So why are you tracking progress on what the weight says? So, anyways, getting into like the second scenario that we see, Seth is actually at a 57-pound transformation. He actually just went straight down. Like on this, we'll see this as well. It's because what we did is we kept his metabolism higher and then his calories the entire time. So for clarity, these are like the 3 outcomes that we typically see, okay? So what we're doing in this is that we got to understand the parasympathetic nervous system, right? The rest and digest. So the parasympathetic nervous system is the system that counteracts effects of stress hormones, like promoting the rest and digest, right? So like a lot of the times we'll get guys that say like, I just feel bloated. Guys who are we talk to before working with us, or like on our enrollment calls, will say like, I just feel like bloated, energy's drowned out. Well, what's happened is that you've put your body in such a state of high levels of cortisol and systematic inflammation that basically your body's looks at it as like a stressful state, a stressful event. So it triggers the fight or flight response because thinks you're starving. So what happens is that you release cortisol, right? High levels of cortisol. And increased levels of cortisol in the glucose in the blood for energy enhance the brain and glucose, preparing the body to deal with the stress. The role of the parasympathetic nervous system is to rest and digest, right? So this is your what counteracts the stress hormone of cortisol is the rest and digest mechanism of the parasympathetic nervous system. So look at all these guys on the left, right? They looked highly inflamed, kind of watery, cortisol, like cortisol related body. This is what it looks like when your body is just not digesting, is not resting well, and it's just highly inflamed because of chronic dieting. So for Seth, we just seen a downspin. Like, he never stopped losing weight, I believe. But like, we'll see this every once in a while. Just like constantly down every single week, keeping his BMR higher. Is like, can I promise any of these scenarios for one particular person? No, it's just based dependent on like where you're currently at, where your muscle tissue structure is, how active you are per day. Like, but these are the three outcomes. Like, I can't sit here and tell you like, hey, this is going to be you. You're the guy who like loses 5, 10, 15 pounds in a week, slowly gains weight, and then loses a shit ton of weight in like in a fat loss phase. I can't tell you that you're going to be this guy like Seth or this guy like, like Joe, because Joe's a little bit different. Joe's a guy who just simply gained a lot of weight during the metabolic priming phase. But like, this is I want you to realize this is the structure he's built, like the abdominal structure that he's built right here happened during this phase, okay? It happened during this phase because we're building the structure for his metabolism at that time. We're putting the body in, we're preconditioning the body and preconditioning the cells to be highly efficient at burning body fat. And that's what you see like him getting as shredded as he is. But like, if we want to look at this as like a perspective of like start a metabolic priming, into metabolic priming, in a fat loss phase, like here's my client, Devin, okay? Came to us 2,200 calories a day. So like, let's see, for instance, let's take this for example, right? 2,200 calories a day, zero cardio, BMR shot. You can just tell like highly inflamed, faces like puffy, digestion issues. What we needed to do is that we needed to slowly, systematically raise these carbohydrates in a state where we can precondition his body and precondition his like cell energy pathways in the form of glycogenol energy efficiency and metabolic like stressors, to where we can actually like burn more food, eat more food, right? So like, we needed to basically improve his metabolism, right? And this is how you improve your metabolism. It's like structure every week, boom, 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 and like just monitor minuscule changes. And as we start to go up, what happens is this will go up too. This will go up, this will go up. And that's our goal, is to raise both these at the same time. So this is his transformation from like eating, he ate 700 more calories a day. He gained 1 pound. He gained 1 pound during this phase, right? And most people would look at this and be like, probably pissed off, like, damn, I'm not making much progress. But we teach our clients this. Like, we teach our clients mindset, discipline, and then delayed gratification, because we know what happens when we actually have the correct amount of calories to utilize a structured fat loss phase, right? So, like, he got up to 2,900 calories. BMR is optimized. Now what? Look at all this room that we have to drop and all this cardio that we have to raise. Now his BMR is optimized. Keep in mind, he's the same weight. He's eating 700 more calories. So now we have 700 more calories to create a deficit in a fat loss phase. And that's when you see this kind of transformation right here, right? But this is sustainable. Why? It's because we preconditioned his metabolism, preconditioned like energy efficiency on the cellular level. And then when we started lowering the food, we didn't have the swinging of the pendulum, right? Because we're like systematically lowering it to make sure that we're not getting hungry, making sure our body's not highly inflamed or hitting that systematic inflammation. Like, this is what it looks like correctly. And this is sustainable. 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 All of this is sustainable because they did it right, right? Because guys will go and try to do it the wrong way 20 different times every summer, right when summer starts. Oh, it's time to lose the same 20 goddamn pounds you lost last year. There's a better way to do it. And so getting into like the last case study, it's like down 33 pounds. But what I want you to understand is that he, like, during the metabolic priming phase, we got him up 800 calories. All right. Here's a transformation. He lost about 6 pounds, right? And I know you were probably thinking like, oh, 6 pounds, like what the hell? But that's not the goal. The goal is to precondition his cellular and biological processes for a successful fat loss phase, for more sustainability. So like, okay, here's the transformation, 6 pounds down. And you can definitely see in his back, like love handles are coming in, coming down, side shots looking better, front shots looking better. But like, he's more energy efficient. So look what happens now when we have 800 more calories to drop from. He goes from here, and it's just like, boom, off to the damn races, down to 211. So this is a 33. He's actually probably 30, closer to 40 now as of right now. This is a little bit earlier of a photo. But this is what happens when you actually do it correctly. And this is sustainable. That's what's important to know. This is sustainable for him. He's not under a low amount of calories. He's not over a lot of stress. He's not hungry. Like, this is sustainable because he's done it right, right? And this is what it looks like from an absolute perfect level, right? So, like, what you got to understand is that, what you've been taught isn't correct. And if you've been dieting for an extended period of time, like, and you're under 2,000 calories, it's time to wake up. Like, what you've been doing hasn't been working for a specific reason. This is why. This is why clients are eating more food and losing more weight with us. This is why clients are seeing long-term success with us. This is why clients are, rapidly coming to us to solve their weight loss problem once and for all. And like, we have a group of almost 250 guys from all around the world that we currently work with. And we call it like our business and our community is called the 1%. The reason why is because we are the 1% of people who don't resonate with the other 99, who want to stay average, who want to stay complacent, who want to stay comfortable, because comfortability will keep you stuck, right? And so the community that we have designed is a group of individual men who support each other, who help each other, who guide each other. You can ask questions too. And if you want to be a part of something great, then down below is going to be that link. But if you're just looking for some more answers on your weight loss journey, I hope this did help as well. But anyways, I will see you guys next time. Like, comment, and subscribe, and go get leaner.